Okay, so option number two is actually coming to us from the Intel starter pack that I did, Skills of Innovation. There was a day that I was half a day that I had because I went to that training I told you guys about. Um, so this is actually creating 3D prints to, um, in this case, create a tool to fix a bicycle, but I call it practical application. So if you watch the video that I have added to this, I created a 3D print for my phone holder for my car. So that way when I'm driving, I have my phone up on the dash. I can, Spotify and all that as I drive without having to keep picking up my phone, being dangerous, taking my hands off the wheel, etc. So it's practical application. If, 3D prints aren't just for toys. They're building houses with them. They build tools with them. They do a lot of things with 3D prints. So this is giving you the option to do that. You can make one tool a week. You can do a large print for part of it as option one, and now option two, create a couple tools or things that would personally help you. Look online. There's a lot of different 3D print things that you can do, make for yourself. But once again, you have to make it. So look at the tutorial I have here, put in your plan for this week, and then as we go through the 9 weeks, we can talk about, or I can help you create the tool that you want to create, or tools, because you're probably going to do more than one.
Okay, so here we are in my car, and as you can see, I do not have a place to put my phone. So that's the problem, and I'm going to solve it by 3D printing. So I got my tape measure here, and we're doing a little measure. So you're looking at about 4 inches. Let me get that proper. Okay. Yeah, it's like 3.5 inches actually. Actually, let me get this perfectly straight. There you go. Yeah, 3.5 inches across this clock, and then the space in between. Let's get that. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but it's about an inch. So we need less than an inch in the gap on both sides, and I'd say probably 4.5 inches because I want it to be held here and held here. So I'm going to have thing here, and the phone's in the middle, and then I'll measure the phone itself, but obviously I can't show those measurements on my phone because I'm holding it, and then we'll take it to Tinkercad.
Alrighty, kiddos. So we're heading into the final project here, and this is how to do it. The first thing I'm going to say right off the bat before I even do anything is name your thing. Exquisite Lappy Fluffy doesn't do anything for me when I have to print your file. So I would say Hernandez, because that's my name. You should put your name. Phone or car phone holder. Okay, name it first. So here we are on the work plane. I'm going to show you basically advanced stuff, or how to manipulate this to get it to do what you want. I'm making something that exists in the real world. You're going to want to make something that you're going to be proud of, that you're going to keep. Plus, it's 3D printing. It's a real thing. So I have several things that I've 3D printed that I have that work for me. Now I'm going to make a car holder, and that's going to be my car holder. Like, get real with it, guys. Okay, be happy with the things you're making. Take time, take effort. I've had kids that say, "Oh, I'm gonna make Goku." You can make Goku. I don't think he'd be easy to make, but you got a month. You got 4 weeks. I'm giving you plenty of time to create any project. So you can make a lot of little things that are cool, or you can make one big thing that takes a long time. However you want to do it. The limit is your imagination, and of course, how quickly we can print these things. But basically, let me show you how this is done. So when I start with my work plane, I always turn my grid off. So down here, it might be set to something. Don't want that. Off is where you want. I always edit my grid to make sure that I'm in inches. Okay, and I keep my work plane size 8 by 8, just because that's, you know, a nice square, and you know, it's easily worked with. Now, if you turn your grid on, it will snap to the corners here, but as you can see, it's based upon specific inches, and I personally just find it annoying. It doesn't work the way I like it to do things. It's not like Photoshop. Snapping in Photoshop is great. Snapping here, not so much, because I'm working in a three-dimensional plane, and sometimes it gets frustrating. But anyway, I'm making a car holder, so the first thing I'm going to start with is a box. Okay, and I'll put the box like right about there. That's good. And now I want to know the sizes of these things, so I'm going to put the ruler out. Okay, and it gives me the ruler tool, and I usually put the ruler tool down here, so I'm getting maximum thing. And all the measurements here, like for the ruler itself, not that important. For other things, it might be very important, but for right now, not that important. These measurements for the actual box itself are very important. So I have my phone here, and I actually will measure this bad boy right here, right now. You can't see this part, of course, because you're on the computer, and I'm in here. So it says 6.5 inches is my phone itself, and in the car we said the span of the dashboard or the little clock thing was got to be more than 4 inches, so we're going to go 6.5 inches. So if I come over here, actually no, this one, you got to look at your orientation. So this is up and down, left and right, and then that's the depth, or otherwise known as your X, your Y, and your Z. Okay. Anyway, this is the one I want to mess with, right? And we just said it's 6.5 inches. Okay, so now I have a 6.5 inch rectangular box. And the next part of what I'm doing is, you know, we're going to put the phone inside of it. So we're pretty much talking about this angle here, looking from the top. So sometimes it's a little kooky to get it to move the way you want it to move. I don't want to actually fit all. Yeah, let's do. That wasn't. See, it didn't do exactly. That wasn't really what I was going for. Tinkercad it's free software, guys. So you have limitations. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much good enough. And so I'm going to slide my phone into this bad boy, right? So we need to know the width of the phone with my case on, and that's basically a 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit more than a 1/2 inch. So if that box is 1 inch, my phone will sit in there nice, and that's what I'm gonna go for. So we'll look at it once again, looking at the measurements, and it says it's 1 inch right now, so that's pretty good. Okay. So now the next part is I'm probably going to want to extend this up because I don't want it to sit on such a small base. So what is that, the width, height? I don't know. The length? Well, it wasn't the length, we did the length, so this has got to be the height, I guess. Well, if I'm holding the phone, yeah, this is the width of the phone. So the width of the phone says 3.5 inches. It doesn't have to be 3.5 inches per se. This is the one I want up and down, right? I think 3 inches is okay because it's going to, because my phone is going to sit, it's going to slide in through the top. And so if the top of the phone is kind of sticking out, I'm not going to be able to accept that. But now the next part is we got to carve out where my phone would actually be sitting, right? So from this perspective, and this is the thing that sometimes messes kids up, so this is why I'm going to go over this. I was actually hoping that I could. Oh, yeah, that's if I wanted to do that. That's cool. Yeah, I kind of do want to do that. I kind of went around the edges to make it look, I don't know, cool, man. You guys, you know, here's the deal. This is going in your, you're going to use this thing. So, make it steps. 20 steps is good, actually. That's a lot of steps. So radius, a little bit. Yeah, 10 is good. All right, just a little bevel, so it's rounded, so it looks cool, pretty good. Okay, so now my phone is gonna slide in here. Okay, so we got to first cut out the hole on the top. So we take a box, and this orientation, as you can see, this orientation is not always easy to accomplish. So I kind of just make the box, and then you're gonna move it up like this, right? So it's actually up, and you got to move it around so you can see, zoom in and out. Where's that fit all button? No, there we go. So yeah, this is where I want. So we can move this box over that one where it's overlapping, right? But I don't want it to go past the box itself. So you see how that is? That's how I want. I only really want a little bit of space, like that. Okay, and we're gonna go like this because my phone is gonna slide in. Okay, and it's gonna be held by the piece. So actually, this is two parts. I can't. I was gonna make the front as a part right away, but I can't do that yet because we have to make sure that we create a lip that's actually gonna go around the phone. So I'm looking at my phone and I'm looking at this thing and I'm saying, okay, I need this to go over, to go over my phone so it's holding it, but not blocking my screen where I can't see it, where it's annoying me, right? So this, I'm actually going to measure that space right there on my phone, and that also is a 1/2 inch. So we want a 1/2 inch. So I'm actually going to cheat by making this box. It's not cheating. It's using math. You're not cheating. It's not showing me the side that I want to. That's a problem. I'm actually going to get rid of this box because I need it to be a certain size. So sometimes you got to start over, guys. It's just the way it is. Okay, so this box has to be 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. That's what I need. Okay, now we'll bring this up. And then we'll slide it over. Okay, so it's oh, I went too far. Sometimes the orientation is a little off, so you gotta look to see where you're at. Okay, so now we know this is a 1/2 inch, right? So we don't want to cut it. Okay, so if I go to the edge of this, actually, you know what? Let's take this back. Let's not mess with the radius yet until after we've cut everything. Okay, so there's your 1/2 inch, right? You see? So a 1/2 inch on this side is what I need to hold the phone. Okay? So we got to cut it. But we want to cut it. We do want it. Because, okay, I know to explain to you a little bit about the 3D printing. You have to give it enough material that it'll hold, but not too much that it becomes clumpy and you're not going to get what you want. So we gotta look from the top. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so looking, that's good. That's a pretty good amount of space. Although I am going to move this over just a little bit more. Okay, so if you look, I got a good amount of space on the left side, and I'll duplicate the same amount on the other side, and then enough in the front and the back that it'll hold. And then we know it's a 1/2 inch, so it's going to be a little bit over 1/2 inch, because this box itself is 1/2 inch, but that's okay because it's actually more than 1/2 inch on the phone. If I measure it again, yeah, it's just slightly over 1/2 inch, and that's going to be just slightly over 1/2 inch. But because I want to make sure that there's enough material that it doesn't mess up, okay? And so now once I've got that, I'm just going to stretch this out across the whole phone. So if I look from this angle, that looks pretty good. That looks decent, okay? So my phone will slide right in there. And the next part is, oop, I picked the wrong box. Control Z when you do that. That's how you fix those mistakes. So I don't want the south box. I want this one. No, that's definitely not what I want. Go back to that. This is gonna not do it's not gonna do exactly what I want. That pulls it out. I want to pull it down. I might have to mess with this number here, right? So 3.5, I believe, was the number before. Oh, that's fun. It went the wrong direction. All right. How do I pull you down, bro? All right. There we go. This will slide it down. I don't want to go all the way through, so make sure you look at the bottom. Make sure you're not leaving space on the bottom. Yeah, that looks good. There's good space on the bottom. There's a good box. That's the cut. That looks good. Okay. Hold that thought. So now at this point, what you want to do is you want to cut this hole out, okay? And the way that is done is, yeah, I got a good amount of space. That looks good. Okay. The way that's done is I have the hole selected. Now I have the solid shape selected, okay? And I'm going to click group. It groups it, but because one was a hole, what it now does is cut the hole out. So there it is. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. Okay, so now at this point, this would be step 1, right? And let's say this for some reason took you the whole period to do, or an hour to do if you're at home virtually, right? This would be where I would stop for the day, if that's what I was going to do. Like if this was a more complicated project, that really wasn't that complicated. But at this point, I would take a screenshot, right? Then now we're going to move into the next part. So each day you take a screenshot. Each day you're showing me the progress of this project. That's the point. Okay. So once again, I'll make another box. So we want to cut out the front part. And we make sure we get this lined up. Now this part is, well actually no, we do want, don't forget our 1/2 inch. So this number needs to be 0.5. Okay. And I want to make sure that we're actually touching the thing. Okay. So that's is not perfectly on. Hold on. That's about a half inch right there, right? So that's where the edge of my phone will be, right? And then let's make this 3, right? Dropping it down for the cut. Okay, so that's actually good right there. But that we want a half an inch. Okay, so we need to move it over. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate it. So there's this button, I think. Duplicate, yep. So I duplicated it. And there it is. Okay. So, actually, we're going to do this twice. So we're going to do this. Oop. I don't want to change the size of the box. Just want to move it to the edge. Okay, so we got one on the edge, the other one on this edge. It doesn't look, well, it's close enough. Okay. And then duplicate and repeat again. And this is the one where we're actually going to cut. So make sure that they're lined up. Yep, looks good. Okay. Now we're going to grab this, move it over to this one. It's okay if there's a little bit of an overlap. Now we're going to get rid of this box. Delete it. We don't need it. Delete it. We don't need it. We only need the one box. See how it's created the lip? That now my phone will slide right in there, and there'll be a lip where it'll still have my phone won't fall right out. Okay, and we do want a little bit of a lip on the bottom. So Control Z. Don't want to do that one. So we're going to move this up just a little bit. So now I've created a real good box for it to slide in. There we go. And that looks good. That looks good. So I'm going to hit Shift to select both of them. Group them together. Now as you can see, it's created that piece so I can slide my phone in. Okay. Now because I left this a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger, I'm going to just zoom it back a little bit because I want my phone to sit in there. And if my phone wobbles a little bit in there, like it has a little bit of give, that's okay. I don't want it to be super tight. Okay. So that actually looks really good, and my phone looks like it'll fit right in there. Okay, so now this is the part where I'm going to select this, and then where did the shh, Rocky. Where did the oh, okay, I can't edit the, doesn't look like I can edit the, no, Control Z. I see. So once you, okay, so I just learned something. I can now no longer edit the steps and all that, or the radius, in order to make this less boxy. So yeah, you would have had to do that while it was still the rectangle before you started cutting things. I'm not going to go back to that though, because I'm just going to deal with it boxy. Although I would like rounded edges. Alright, because I just got to check to make sure that that's an accurate thing. I'm saying, yeah, see, radius, steps, length, all that stuff's gone now. Because it's no longer a box. I guess because Tinkercad can no longer determine all the dimensions for all the sides of this. Yeah, it doesn't give me change. Oh wait, what's this? Mirror? No. Yeah, so it doesn't let me do that anymore. Okay, well, boxy it is. So yeah, now that I've done the front face, I would take another screenshot. And now that's 6.5 inches. So as long as I think that if we put the sides here and here to go sliding into the thing, that's all I'm gonna need. So I'll put a box there, and I'll put a box there, and we'll put it in this position. So it's gonna slide in. So now I got to think about how this is going to sit inside the air vent, or in the car, so that way it doesn't. If you put them up too high, they could slide. When you put the phone in, the weight of the phone might pull it all out, and it'll just fall flat. If you put it on the bottom, you can pretty much have the same problem. So you want to try and keep it to the middle as much as possible. So, and we set a 1/2 inch because we don't want to, and I can't see which sides are which. So yeah, this has to be a 1/2 inch. And this needs to be a 1/2 inch. I feel like pretty much the whole thing needs to be, well, it could be an inch that way, because that's actually going to be more than an inch. But yeah, that's good. So it'll fit in the, don't move that. What are you doing? From this direction, then. I want to try and get it as, what is going on here? That is craziness. Yeah, right there. Yeah, right in, so it's in there. Very good. And that looks pretty good, actually. It looks pretty good, so that way it won't mess up. And actually, I could delete this one, and we can just duplicate this and move it over. Okay, now from this angle I can see it's not that great. There we go. We want it all the way over, so that way it's definitely past the lip, and that there's going to be 4 inches in the middle. Okay, looks good. We're going to move this over just a hair so it's into, yeah, it looks good. Both of them look pretty good. And if this is 6 inches long, it's definitely past 4 inches in that middle. So that's good. Now, it's a 1/2 inch all the way around, so that looks pretty good. That looks good. Alright, so now this, because it's going in the air vent, 2 inches should be enough. You don't want it to go too deep where it won't fit. So I feel like, yeah, 2 inches should be good. Let's go 2.5. Let's go 2.5. There we go. Definitely will fit there. Then we're going to do 2.5 here too. There we go. And then I want to create a little lip so that way it actually catches when it's in there. And that's actually very, very easy to do. So we just grab a box for the hole, extend it out, and raise it up. And I just want a little lip. I don't want too much of a lip because then it will be loose. So just a little lip. That looks good. So this, and this, and this, and this, and we are going to group them all together. There we go. So now this is actually all one piece because I grouped it all together. So these are now connected to that, and that's exactly what I want it to look like. And it's boxy, I'll be honest. It's not. I wanted it to be rounder, but like I said, you would have had to do that ahead of time. So something that I would do is I would, if I really wanted it rounded and pretty, or if I end up having to do this again because maybe I'm off on my measurements, I don't know, it doesn't fit right, it prints messed up, then I would go back and fix this, right? But ultimately, there you go. I've created my 3D print. It's ready to go. So I will actually take this to the printer and print it. And then you will all see it in class. But that's it. I've created my own custom thing. And that's what I want you to do. Create your own custom thing. Get the measurements right. Make it feel good. Something that you're going to like. Something that you're going to want and that you're going to keep. This is how you really get into this whole 3D printing thing, to get good at it, because you practice this enough, and this is a career, man. I can't tell you how many people do this for a living. But anyway, there it is. So reviewing my lesson, I just realized that I did not show you how to export your final project. So that's why I have students sending me screenshots, and I can't print your screenshots. So here's what you gotta do. Up here where it says export, you want to click that button, and this will come up. Just in case you can't see this, there's .obj, there's .stl, and then there's this one which we're not going to use. It does not matter which one you send me. It could be this one, .obj or .stl. Both of them will print in the 3D printer. I like to go with the object file because it does give you more detail and it is less likely to mess up. For instance, let's say you did not group your stuff properly and there is a shape sitting off on the side by itself. This will often fix that problem, even though sometimes it doesn't happen that way. But I have less errors with the .obj because there's more information in there than the .stl. But like I said, either one will do it. But I'm going to go with the one that I recommend. And then down here, as you can see, it downloaded this zip file to my computer. And then what you're going to do is in Schoology, you will then attach that zip file to the assignment and turn that in. If Schoology gives you problems with that for whatever reason, you can email that to me directly, and that is good enough too. So that is how you actually send me your file that I can 3D print, and I hope that that clears up all confusion. Sorry, I did not previously make that video. I should have done that.